This episode of the Batify podcast is brought to you in partnership with ministryleague.com. We would love for more people to discover this show, so please rate and review us on iTunes or your podcast provider. Feel free to share on your social media, and please do subscribe. Enjoy. Hello, Travis Creasy with Ben Hayes. We're here for the Batify podcast, not the contest, and we just listened to a bird breathe its last. I'm not sure what's happening to that bird back there, but something unfortunate is happening to him. So if you hear that, please enjoy the death of birds here at Camp Maywood. But we're here at Camp Maywood as our annual week, as the is that fourth week? Fourth week, the Florence Shoals week, and we're here with some very special guests. Obviously, Ben Hayes is with us, so hey, Ben.
I'm here. Good to be here. Glad to be able to do this again and have some guys with us that we've had the privilege of being at camp with for several years, and also had some other experiences with these guys, but we're glad to have them with us.
Some good, some not so good.
Probably.
So Ben and I, and of course you'll meet Jason here in a minute, and Will actually have all been sharing the wonderful David's Lodge, and maybe for some of our older listeners, Mary's Lodge, but they don't call it that anymore. And so we're going to talk a little bit about our experiences at Maywood. Obviously, some good, some bad, all good, all great. And so our guest that we have are Will Myhan. Will.
What's up? My name is Will, as Travis said. I've been coming to camp since I was 8 years old. So maybe a couple years here or there when I was out in Texas that I missed. So somewhere around 20 years that I've been at Camp Maywood this week. Love it. One of my favorite weeks of the year, and just really enjoy being out here. Not today since it's in a huge thunderstorm, but still kind of cool just to chill out and spend time with people.
Sad fact is that Travis and I have been counselors long enough that we remember Will when he was a camper back probably at about 12 or 13 years old. He was in our cabin.
And it was atrocious. And we'll get to that in just a little bit. I have a mystery question. Cue the music. Here, Travis, put in mystery music here. Jason.
I'm Jason Bretherick. I'm the heir to Maywood Week 4. I've been here a little over 25 years now. I've been coming since I was very small.
Baby.
I came when my granddad Morgan Hester was here. Shortly after that, my dad Perry Bretherick took over, and we just been coming ever since as a family. We've got our 2 little girls here this week. Hopefully they'll get to experience Maywood like I did when I was young.
And I think Jason's just a tad behind me and Travis on how many years we've been coming, because I lost count somewhere. I think we were around 11 or 12, so that puts us somewhere at 27 years or so that we've been coming to camp. Is that right, Travis?
27. You'd be 27. I got 25. I'm kind of like Will. I missed 2 in there.
Missed 2, yeah.
Sadly, and I'll never get those years back. So never miss camp.
Worst summers of our life.
But I'm here. Yeah, exactly. I'm here now. So we want to kind of go around. Of course, the Batify podcast is where we kind of talk about our life experiences and talk about how we've seen God, seen the Holy Spirit in our lives. And so we're gonna talk about that a little bit and how Maywood has played a part. Just want to take a moment as we get ready to ask the final question to our guests to encourage you, if you are in the market or looking to create your own podcast, to look at Anchor. That's what we use. As you listen, you may be thinking, if these 2 guys can do it, than anybody can, and that's absolutely true with Anchor. The best part is it's free. There's plenty of creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also contact and have your guests on from different locations or right there in the room with you. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. It can be on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. All right, Benjamin.
Yes, sir.
Give us a spiritual. We've talked about and the spirit. Not to say the spiritual things aren't fun, because they are tremendous fun. It's a lot of fun, But something that's impacted you on the spiritual side, and I'm obviously just as many fun things, if not more. We've experienced things that have changed us from a spiritual standpoint. So
I think every year, it's like some people say about, I don't remember what I ate every single day, but it sustained me. And it's kind of like that with church every week. I don't know what was preached last week or the week before or the week before. Even if I did it, sometimes I forget it. But it's that studying every day and every week and going to church that sustains you. And I think Maywood has that kind of, yearly, almost puts you through the fountain of youth every single year, is you kind of get rejuvenated, renewed, and all right, when this 4th week of June rolls around next year, I'll get to that point, and then I'll get some renewal. And so I think there's been that, and I know it's no secret for most people that and we may share this on another podcast at some point, and kin to Will as well. But back years ago, I dated a young girl from Second Creek, Tennessee, near Savannah. And, we dated a couple of years starting here at camp. And so this was kind of a special place. She was killed in a car wreck. Nobody at this table is unaware of that. And most people listening probably are as well. And that was a pretty impactful deal. She impacted me a lot. We did a lot of study together. We did a lot of memorizing scriptures together. It was always kind of founded on a very, spiritual basis, and when she passed, that was a pretty big deal for me, and so camp took on a little bit different meaning in some ways, but then it also helped me get through it. So it's kind of a double-sided thing there, and then it's been a great place. My son's 14, and he's been here every single year of his life. And then it's become that to 2 of my daughters now, and hopefully the other 2 kids will join in at some point. So again, it just seems like it's just a part of life. There's never a question of if we're going to Maywood. It's just what date is it, and can I get signed up before it gets filled up? Those are the 2 things. It's just as much a part of life as anything else. So, Will?
Yeah, I think for me, family would be a word that I would use. My family this week's kind of got a little bit of a legacy like Jason's, is they were all the cooks, so it was always sneaking into the kitchen late at night, grabbing ice cream, candy, all those things. And now my wife went to the Decatur week, and now we were able to bring our daughter at least for a couple days, this year. So it's like my parents did it, my older brother did it, my first cousin now that's my age is now the cook, and it just it's always been a family thing, and a physical family thing, but then you get into the spiritual family, and for me it's just been really cool to see, my students, as far as my youth group now, become Christians and be added to my spiritual family. Like I think it's cool when you see these kids become Christians, but when they're your kids, and you see that light bulb click and you see those things start to really take off, it seems to be just a little bit more exciting, a little bit more enjoyment there to have, your own students study with other students in your youth group and then end up baptizing those kids and watching that, watching your own kids disciple their friends. And that's just been such a cool, impactful thing for me. And kind of like what Ben says, you see a 17-year-old, making disciples of their peers, man, that's a shot in the arm. That's a boost in, of encouragement that a lot of times I need, and I've just always thought getting to the staff, years of my life, it's really neat to look back on that and see how those kids are discipling, other kids. And it really, really encourages me and keeps me going, and pushing forward. So it's kind of where I'm at.
The coolest thing about this is, like, you guys all say stuff, and I'm like, right on, man. Right on. Wiley, how's it going? We're just recording a podcast. Welcome to the podcast, the Ben and Travis podcast. How about that? So we're just talking about things that we talked about, some funny things. We're talking about right now some spiritual things that have impacted us. And Jason's going to share something that obviously there's a lot of things, a lot of inventory because we've been coming a long time, but maybe just something that.
Oh, well, every year it's just a shot in the arm to, just energize you, get you more excited about everything going on in your spiritual life. There's always been great men here to learn from, that I've had as teachers and counselors and people that I can talk to and grow. But the one thing that affected my life the most, the year before Ben and Travis took over the oldest cabin, we had a Devo with the oldest boys on Friday night on the basketball court. And up until that point, I think the oldest cabin was kind of looked at as, the group of guys that are, they're here for mostly the right reasons, but, they're here to have fun, have a good time, just stick somebody up there with them to, keep them in line for the week. That devotional, we had a great week at Maywood, but that night we found out, not every young man has a father figure to look up to at home. And as we went around to each camper, it was the first one had issues with his father, and then there was the second one, and the third one, and the fourth one, and it changed. It really changed everybody's perspective with how we needed to go about choosing counselors for all the cabins, really, making sure that we had people that could, really benefit these kids. And up until that point, I just thought, being in the oldest boys' cabin was, you just didn't have to grow up. And you just kind of move on into the next year and then the next year. And like I said, it's always been uplifting being here at Maywood, but, that changed my outlook on what I needed to be for the ones coming in behind me.
And that started the greatest trio that we've had. No, I mean, I didn't realize all that had gone on, but I was excited when we got to. Travis and I had been counseling for a long time, different cabins. We'd had the 12 and 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, somewhere in there, and I knew we got put in there, and Jason was going to be in there with us. And man, it's been a blast. Yeah. I don't know how long now we've been in that. What did you say? What year was that?
It's been this is
several
our third year together,
been
right?
a while,
Yeah, and it has been a blast. And this year, by accident, sort of, Will hadn't put his stuff in his cabin yet. Got here a little late on Sunday, and it was like, just come join us. So he's been up there with us, and we've had a really good time. And every night, we've talked about some of the funny things, but every night, we obviously have the devotionals that we usually have with in the evenings, and we have the devotionals in the mornings. But one of the blessings is that we sit around. Travis calls it bull knocking. Some of it we do, but we also
Dow Flat.
Yeah. But we also do a lot of serious conversation, and it may start at 11 o'clock at night after the ball field devotional, and these boys ask questions, that sometimes will amaze us, like how do they even know about the Book of Enoch and the Shroud of Turin and all sorts of crazy little questions. But then it also gets into some really serious personal application type stuff. And I hope, and I think a lot of times it ends up being the counselors and some of the kitchen staff that have come back from being campers and are now helping out in the kitchen that are really doing most of the talking, but the boys seem to be engaged in the conversation. A lot of times they're the ones who ask the questions. And so, if your kids don't go to Maywood or have never experienced it, there's a whole lot of fun that happens. We play ultimate frisbee. We, play this year archery tag. They've been going kayaking, but that's not why you come to camp necessarily. It's a great part of camp, but what camp really, I think, is what we've said is we've had a lot of laughs, but the spiritual element of it is just such a boost for you. And
the 2 a.m. discussions.
Yeah. They don't stop when we leave the porch either.
No,
we get up there and they just keep on.
Hear them.
So there's 17 and 18-year-olds doing that. It's great.
Wiley, I'll share a funny one about Wiley, and then Wiley, if you've got a spiritual something, obviously. Well, obviously, we've got some inventory. Brother, you got some inventory to pick from. But I can remember our senior year, I guess it was, when Trey Meharry and his crew did our singing time and kind of I don't want to use the word mock because I think imitation is the highest form of flattery, I think, but whatever. But that's us, and he's got it on the flash drive, which we need to look at.
Yes, we do.
But that's obviously one of the greatest skits of all time, I think, and that I'm kind of jealous of that because we didn't come up with it.
Yeah,
But it hurts me to say that, but probably one of the best. But Wiley, real quickly, we're wrapping up. But if there's, is there something, maybe a moment out of all the?
And how many years have you been here? Start with that. How many years have you been here?
Can you remember?
In all. I know you haven't always been our week. You've been a lot of times. But.
I went to camp 21 years, the Hamilton week, before Keith Davis decided that the Cox Boulevard group was going to come this week, and I started coming this week, and I love it.
Now, as you mentioned Keith Davis, that leads into my spiritual moment. We're doing our senior Bible, and I can remember him talking about knowing why, and I say this all the time, why you believe what you believe. And I don't know if I've even told Ben this. He probably remembers it. But he says, I want somebody to come down here and convince us that God exists. And, of course, in my wonderful bravado and boldness, I'll do this.
No.
And the person that came down to play devil's advocate went to Mars Hill, very smart guy, one of our good friends, was nominated the same year you were, that I also lost to. And he just tore me up. I mean, he embarrassed me in front of everybody. And I remember sitting there going, never again. I will know. I will be prepared the next time this happens. So, even in embarrassment and even, and you can gain things out of that. And I can remember clear cut that will not. I will know why I believe what I believe. And to me, that's my Maywood moment where it was, this is real and it's got to be real, kind of like what you're talking about, that moment where it's fun and it's a great thing to be here, but are you getting everything out of it that you can?
I love this week at Maywood because y'all have accepted me from the very first. I mean, they made fun of me.
Birds are trying to talk over you. You might want to talk loud.
They made fun of me, and that was I took that as a tremendous compliment. But
you fit right in, man. Welcome.
Yeah, but the main thing that I love it here is the kids love to sing, and I love to sing, but you know that I will not put up with half-hearted singing.
Oh no.
That's
Cardinal. Cardinal see it. Yeah.
But it's not just about good singing; it's about worship. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have feeling and emotion and passion in the singing, I don't see how it can be worship. And I want the kids to experience, and I want to experience that real spiritual connection with God as we give Him praise and honor and glory and love and gratitude. And it's so important. And giving that to God does something for us.
Yeah.
It really does something for us, and it's so important.
The only memory of Maywood that I have that hasn't kind of reoccurred this year is Wiley hasn't sang Amen once this year.
Oh, it's coming, I'm sure.
No, it happened.
Like that'll probably
It happened. We missed it.
We missed it.
You missed it.
Oh, man.
this is wonderful the way God works. Okay, Matt and I got together this morning and we decided what songs have we not sung yet that we need to sing. And we kind of made a list of them, and we set up a PowerPoint presentation for the 11:15 singing session. And we were already had my computer up there and everything, and it rained.
It
I mean,
downpoured.
rained so hard that even with a microphone, you couldn't understand what the guys were saying.
It was raining like a cow peeing on a flat rock.
Of course.
Yeah. So I'm up there, and it's time for us to start singing, but it's raining so hard, and the girls were in the dining hall, and they couldn't come up because it was raining so hard. So the guy said, "Well, one of them said, well, let's sing something." So we started trying to find things that had where the guys sang, and then somebody said, "Well, let's sing."
Amen.
The Greatest Command. So we don't have the girls here. No, let's sing it. And we
That's
did.
some boldness.
And we did.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good.
Nice.
It was real
It's
good.
impressive. The Lord does work in mysterious
You
ways.
did have to say it was
So
pretty good.
Yeah.
So then finally, the girls, it stopped raining enough, the girls came up. And so all the guys are sitting in chairs out in the pavilion and on the ball court, and the girls are sitting in the stands, and I'm in the middle. And that, by the way, that's where I love to lead singing from, is in the middle of everybody, because I'm hearing it
you get to
all,
hear it all.
and they're singing toward each other.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. So during that session, somebody wanted to sing Amen, so I finally sang it.
You knocked it out.
But the singing during that session was just, were you there? It was intense.
I think we were there for a little while. We were continuing the discussion from class earlier, but we heard some of it.
It was intense. It was wonderful.
Well, Will, we're going to wrap up the podcast and the mystery
terrified.
question, and this has been a decade
looming
coming into the.
all
So,
day, though.
so one year, Ben and I are blessed to be Will Myhan and Matt Burgess's counselor, and we won't even get into the fact that 10:30 is when their day started every day. But so I wake up in the middle of the night, and I've been sleeping in a sleeping bag. I wake up in the middle of the night, and I'm soaked from head to toe. All right, head to toe. So there's three options here, okay? And we may get a little PG-13. But there's three options. Either somebody in that cabin had doused me with water, or
There was a long stare.
yes, there was a
at
long
Will
pause and stare.
right then.
Like,
Somebody doused
my
me with
soul
water,
just
or
got looking
or
at it.
whatever it was. I don't need details. I sweated a whole lot. But typically, it's at camp for some reason. It's a little cool at night. That's why the question is. Or I just wet the bed. I don't know. By this time, I'm an older guy, so I'm thinking I have that under control. But who knows? I won't rule that out because once again, who knows? So Will, did you douse me with water?
Okay.
Oh, wait, there's a
This is the
delay.
mystery
here.
question.
I have
A decade in.
zero idea anything that happened.
Okay. All right.
None.
So the mystery question will go unanswered.
We'll ask Jesus one day. But I will admit to never getting up before breakfast.
There we go.
I would
At
find it
all.
hard to think that Will actually was up late
Yeah, I
enough in the
know.
night to
I
do
know. That-
anything.
I've
It
thought
could have
about
been
that.
somebody in the cabin, but probably
pretty
not
heavy
him
sleeper.
or Matt Burgess or Chris Snell.
Yeah.
Any of those guys, it's
It could
probably
be
not
possible.
them.
Will
Impossible.
used to sleep more than he sleeps now.
That's
Wow.
true. But my daughter sleeps incredible.
Oh, yeah.
So I've
He doesn't even
passed
get
the
on.
legacy.
Bless.
I
the
won't say when he
legacy
gets to the
on.
office. We'll just leave that alone.
Yes, Wiley.
Because I don't get to the office real early either.
Wiley, did you have another comment before we close out?
You asked me a while ago how many years I've been coming to camp.
Yeah,
I came 21 years before I started coming to this, and that was in what, 1997?
somewhere in there because I was still in high school.
I wasn't born yet.
So
You might not even want to put that number out there, Wiley.
I was 7 years old.
97, and so 97 to now is 22 years.
Yeah.
So we're at 43
And there was about
years.
3 years that I didn't come.
40
40
plus
years.
40
40
years.
years. Some say 39 or 40 years. Yeah.
So you were coming here when there was
Way to
still
carry the torch.
camping was
Retirement
intense.
years in.
Camping was intense.
No,
back
but there
then.
was no air conditioning.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can remember in the '90s coming in blue jeans. There's
No
no
bathrooms
shorts,
in the cabins.
Yeah.
no shorts allowed.
Bathhouses.
The
yeah.
bathhouses where the showers only came up to, like your chest.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, when we
You
were
had to get
coming,
down on your knees just to wash your
when
hair.
we first started coming to camp, the place we're sitting right now was a trailer.
Yeah.
Sat on this slab, and the
Where
guy
the
who,
administrator lives.
Yeah, the administrator lived here, and now the administrator lives down at the very beginning of the road for the camp, and they've built a really nice pavilion that we have class and devotionals sometimes under, and so. Yeah, a lot has changed in this camp through the years. We no longer have chicken wire around the tops of the cabins, and we
the
have air
Devos
conditioner.
under this.
Yeah.
Storms too.
Yeah.
Storm shelter Devos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
Got
we
hype.
we appreciate you joining us here on the Batify podcast. We'll post this. Jason, you got something else?
Yeah, just real quick. This year they're going to be doing Lift University here at Maywood the first full week of August. That's for any high school seniors and college age individuals, boys and girls. There's nice facilities down here. It should be a blast for everybody involved.
Y'all be sure to check that out. A shout out to Wes Ayers, who ghosted us in return for Ben ghosting him a few weeks ago. We were going to let you
Apparently.
tell us about your zoo ministry or ministry zoo or whatever it's called. But I guess hey, whatever. No, go check those guys out. It is Ministry
I think
Zoo,
it's Ministry Zoo.
correctly?
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Correct. But maybe they'll join
And
us.
they're good, and their stuff's probably a whole lot better than ours. So,
Much more
so please go,
polished,
go see them.
better guests and everything. Just kidding. You guys appreciate you listening, and then we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for being with us on this episode of the Batify Podcast. Be sure to download the Ministry League app and get all of our sister podcasts, along with all sorts of great ministry material at facebook.com/Ministry League. Until next time, look for us at the same Batify time, same Batify channel.